Thank you so much for joining the session. I'm Dana Vickey, and I lead alliances and partnerships for Eightfold, and I am thrilled to be here. I couldn't ask for a better tee-up than Josh Burson's presentation this morning. It really is all about the ecosystem and also the integration within HR and talent. So over the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is the Eightfold App Marketplace. And as we know, this is not about fabulous one-to-one relationships, which is terrific. It's really about creating a complete ecosystem that's cohesive, enriched to deliver critical talent solutions to the marketplace. It gives customers and clients the ability to have options, and that's what we're looking to do here. And to really talk about this, we're going to talk to three esteemed partners who is joining us today. I'm very thrilled to have them here. And we're going to talk about how they've integrated into the Eightfold Marketplace to really provide joint solutions. And so I just wanted to introduce my panel. We have David Taylor from Degreed, who you may know. He is the SVP of partnerships at Degreed. And he and his team certainly have done a lot of pioneering work with learning exchange platforms. So we're thrilled to have him here. We also have Andreas Sanaty, and he's with Arjuna. And Arjuna is a very tight partner with us. What he and his team does is they create custom applications for talent. And let's face it, we are not all out of the box, right? Our businesses command different types of processes, different types of technologies. And so we're so happy to have Andreas here to talk about this. He is the Director of Data Analytics. And also, on the end is Kapil Singhal. And Kapil is the CEO of Vyntelligence. His technology is fascinating. Once again, it's AI technology to accelerate the hiring process. And it's really for deskless workers. So a very hot topic to really talk about frontline workers. So thrilled to have you here. Thank you. So first of all, the first piece I want to do is have each one of them introduce themselves a bit more, talk about the mission of their company, and also the value that they bring to the marketplace. So would you like to kick it off, David?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dana. And thank you all for being here. My name is David Taylor. I'm the VP of Strategic Partnerships at Degreed, which is just a really fancy way of saying that I'm Degreed's ambassador to the broader HR technology universe. Degreed was founded about 10 years ago or so by a gentleman named David Blake. At that time, David's vision was, or recognition was, that formal education, as it was known, was going to have to go away. The world of work is rapidly changing. The world of learning needed to similarly change. His quote, or his favorite quote was, the future doesn't care how you became an expert. So creating a learning experience platform that would, I guess, most specifically understand and address the unique needs of a learner and help the clients that we served to more effectively aggregate and provide learning to their employees in alignment with the skills that those individuals were looking to develop, ostensibly so they could advance in their career. I've been a part of this industry for about 20 years. I've worked with a lot of partners over the years, and I'm truly impressed with what Eightfold is doing. And hopefully in a minute or two, we'll talk a little bit about the natural interconnectedness of Degreed and Eightfold.
Right. Andreas.
Sure. Thanks for having us and for having me, Dana. I'm Andreas Sanaty, Director of Data Analytics at Arjuna. We are a sister company of Blue Crab Consulting and a point solution software company that's focused primarily in three swim lanes. First around curated analytics, so install base analytics that are applicable across the Eightfold install base, targeting data and analytical views that are important and integral to everything that our customers are doing from the TA and TM side, but also custom curated analytics, which is exciting for me in my role to get to sit with our clients to understand their specific data stories and designing views and solutions that are created and revolve around their strategies for the future. Second, around HCM integration apps. So integrating and extending Eightfold's current integrations with systems like UKG, Smart Recruiters, and others like Bullhorn from the ATS side, where we are targeting apps and very relevant for the app marketplace to develop integrations and bringing those to market faster than Eightfold could have done on its own. And third, around custom workflow integrations of weaving disparate systems together, like HireVue, Workday, and Eightfold, and others, where we're moving candidates, creating custom workflow integrations, and moving data back into Eightfold with interview scores and others. And super excited to share some of the elements that we're doing specifically around the app marketplace today.
Great, thank you. Yeah, you have quite a bit of experience with Eightfold, so we're very thrilled about all the work you do with the customers and joint solutions. Kapil?
First of all, thanks for inviting us, and really great to be here. I think the best innovation comes when you have collaborators come on the platform, and Eightfold's clearly one of those platforms. This event is a great platform. My background is unusual, electrical engineering, computer science, but then built mobile networks in the field, first generation 90s mobile networks. Tried to do some startups to build mobile software technology as early as 2000. Failed miserably, some good failures to learn from. And then worked for an American firm called Hughes to build their enterprise software operations in Europe. Took that company from 2 people to about 3,500 people. And that was a hugely, wonderfully enriching learning experience. And then co-founded this business in 2013. And the problem we were trying to solve for was, why do people have to write reports and type all the work, especially the ones in the field, right? We were a mobile first kind of generation, people who actually work or deskless workers. And we put our bets on short video technology. Why wouldn't people just record short videos to report, converse, prepare their profiles? And at the time, everybody thought this is just not going to happen, right? Apple had just launched 3G. There was barely any connectivity. There was no Snapchat, TikTok, none of that. Fast forward 9 years, I think we are realizing our vision to get to about 100 billion smart video nodes, which is our product, which allows people to converse, collaborate, and communicate their rich experiences, their insights, their learnings every day in the workforce. So that's us, Vyntelligence. We bring all these video nodes together in a smart and searchable manner. And very excited to be here and maybe share more on how we can bring this technology to the talent marketplace.
Great, thank you. So this is amazing. Just think of these partners, David, Andreas, and Kapil, really diverse offerings, diverse solutions in technology. And this is really integrated solutions for our customers and clients. So thank you very much. So let's dig in. We'd like to hear a little bit more about some of the proof points with customers that you have. Your customers, the use cases, the time to value with joint solutions. So we'd love to hear more from you. Andreas, would you like to kick it off?
Sure, yeah. So we're actually excited to release one of our first listings on the app marketplace soon, which is the Lead and Applicant Insights app. And we've actually recently worked on a custom app around that with an Eightfold client, where we are taking, using the Eightfold APIs and the Eightfold data warehouse, and ingesting data around lead and candidate match scores, and some of the demographics data around that, where they sit in the funnel, what their educational background is, what their work history is, and really visualizing that in a way that helps the recruiters and their hiring managers get a better insight into where they're driving specific talent that is a good match for not just at the macro level, but also for a specific position. And I think it was Sachin who mentioned this earlier about campus recruiting starting again. So when we think about that and clients that have specific target schools or other events on campus, being able to see the data around where they're driving or what types of candidates they might target during those events has been super insightful for them. And so we're going to continue building on those use cases. That app is going to be released soon, and our interest is to release these types of applications that are really curated for the Eightfold install base, and then have feedback from our customers around how this impacts their business, about what it does and doesn't do for them, so that we can continue building on the apps that we're putting out there, or work towards data stories that are aligned to and for a particular customer.
Great, great. I also understand that you have a special offer for clients and customers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I don't know, those of you in the room who've ever looked at an analytics solution or some dashboards or anything, when somebody gives you a demo with some demo data in it and you try to make that applicable to your business, it's very challenging, right? Because your data isn't going to be the same. It's not very apparent of how it might help you given your business challenges. So what we're doing is offering our apps free for 30 days, not because they're super expensive from a point of entry standpoint, but because we've talked about transparency in terms of the AI. We want to be transparent about what we're putting out in the marketplace and having our customers see how it impacts their business before they make a buying decision. And so we're working with the Eightfold team on being able to release those and offer those as free trials for our customers.
Great, thank you. And really interesting offer, and hopefully a lot of folks can take advantage of that. David, we would love to hear about one of your customer success with Eightfold. So, please tell us.
Sure. So maybe I'll back up just a little bit. So as I mentioned, Degreed's been in business for about 10 years. We have 400 or some odd clients, a couple of which are represented here today. And our focus has always been on kind of driving the, inspiration to learn, right? How can we enable employees to recognize that learning is a gateway to opportunities, how our clients can recognize that facilitating learning is a gateway to realizing growth and innovation, and learning, broadly speaking, we heard Josh Bersin talk about it this morning, right? Happening all the time, being really, really good for positive change in the world. Where we might have fallen down a little bit was on the aspiration part. We heard Satya talk about this earlier today. How can we provide employees with better visibility to how an investment in learning and upskilling and skill development can help them achieve their career goals? And so we had a couple of clients with Eightfold who were very vocal about their desire to see a greater integration between Eightfold and Degreed. More specifically, how could individuals utilizing Eightfold's Career Hub solution be given recommended learning resources in line with the skill gap analysis we heard Satya talk about today. So over the past couple of months, we engaged predominantly the folks at Eightfold, I'll give them a lot of credit, in developing deep integration with Degreed that will see relevant learning recommendations be made available to Eightfold users who, again, are going through the career planning experience or might have an aspiration for a particular project or job. How can we better enable them to gain the requisite skills to move forward? It is fairly early stage, but the feedback that we've gotten from the clients has been positive, and maybe more specifically from the people on my team. I literally, just before getting up on the stage, got a message from one of my counterparts in Atlanta saying, a major organization that they're working with is super interested in talent marketplace, and I'm excited about this integration because we're better together, quite frankly. So really excited to kind of see where this goes, but the early returns have been really, really positive.
Great, thank you. Also, really curious too, what industries are you seeing adopt faster than others, and what do you see in the future? In
terms of adopting the integration
Correct.
Of these two? Well, I could say there's one in telecom, one in oil and gas or energy, and another one in airlines that right. is. But again, it kind of spans the gamut. We have a pharmaceutical organization that we're mutually working with. We recently have a new joint client with a major financial institution. So it's broadly applicable.
Right.
I hope that's
so
not a cop-out, but yeah.
No. It sounds very horizontal. So as it evolves, I'm sure there'll be specific vertical questions and requirements. So that's great. Look forward to that.
Thank you.
And Kapil, really interesting. We just had a presentation yesterday regarding 110 and fascinating collaboration, and you have been front and center to that. We'd love to hear a little bit more about your journey with them.
So we have always been about simplicity and speed. And I still remember talking to the Eightfold team early, and they said, you have 2 weeks to make it work. I'm sure Sukant is here somewhere. And we're like, okay, we're up for it. So the problem was, the candidates who were coming on the 110 platform, they perhaps would not have never made their resume. Or even if they have, it's not rich enough to demonstrate what pride and passion they have for their work. So a short video which guides the user on what people can express in terms of your background, your skill sets, your achievements, things that make you proud of what you've done, was the solution that they were looking for. And we had just the solution to bring it up. And the Eightfold team, the platform is just fascinating. It's really good. The API integration worked like a dream. I'm sure our chief data officer will not agree with me there. But for a project which started and we could go live within 6 weeks to get somebody up and running, I think it's world-class, because you're looking at data privacy, you're looking at security, you're looking at searchability, you're looking at content management. Those are things that don't come very easily with a technology like video. And given we've been working in that space for 9 years, that's something that we do for a living. So very excited about bringing this all together. We have other industries we work in as well. Network infrastructure, construction deployment. If you look at the US, I think $250 billion worth of gas pipe replacement, $1 trillion in sustainability, network infrastructure development, $500 billion in open fiber planning and out. That requires skill sets and workers, and there aren't many of those, right? So how do you get these people to report, perform, deliver their work first time right? And what we found over the last 4 or 5 years of putting this technology into market, that the quality of the work goes up when you're actually showing and telling what you've done, as against filling in a checklist in a form and saying, yes, no, I've done this well. Just better situational awareness, better availability of the resource at hand. And that's what makes us so proud of the technology that we can bring on the Eightfold platform. The options are going to be very many. So very excited at the 110 partnership. I think they're going live in June.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
I think it's fascinating that you brought your technology, AI, computer vision, from the back of the camera to the front of the camera. I think that is such a great application.
No, absolutely. And I was just reading some statistics this morning. TikTok has about 1 billion users, and that's the next generation of the workforce.
Right.
So how do you bring a consumer-style experience in the enterprise with all those data privacy, data security, collaboration kind of capabilities come in? So we are super excited at the opportunity to take this to Eightfold's customers and help them drive new ways of working at speed and at scale.
Great. I think this is a great example of collaboration. And not only was it Eightfold and Vyntelligence, it was also Deloitte Consulting, who also jumped in and worked with the team to really integrate and build this solution for the marketplace. So really exciting stuff, really important stuff. So thank you. So I think you can see this is just a sampling of the Eightfold marketplace. And today there's over 30 applications, and we're looking to expand that, certainly. And so what we want to do now is just take a little bit of a look in the horizon and get your opinion about what next. We know it's early days, but really you're looking out in the marketplace every single day. And so we'd love to hear from you, Kapil, about that.
So last year, number of searches on YouTube were higher than number of searches on Google. That was the first time, right? And that tells you a story. There's entertainment and then there's utility. So TikTok is for entertainment, so we'll let them win that race. But when it comes to utility, enterprises have an opportunity to create this amazing knowledge base of insights and experiences that people can capture on a daily basis when they're filling their reports, their forms, their onboarding sessions. So for us, it's enabling the organization with intelligence that they have access to, but they don't quite capture. So by creating new ways of capturing this information through short video formats, we are enabling organizations with a YouTube-style
Right.
database. The difference is we have 20 times more labeled on that data. So it's more searchable, more collaborative, and more insightful. So that's the obvious next application for us. Yesterday, talking to some of the people here, Mark, you're here, the ideas will come from the customers. You talked about onboarding, right? Great application, somebody comes in, you get 10 videos from the leaders, and you kind of just understand where you're going.
Right.
Creating the next generation of resumes, right? Every day, I'm finished a project. I think we saw the EY case study. You do a little report, give a little video, right? Now that becomes your kind of timeline on your resume. So that's the world we see. That's coming on the horizon. It's right here.
Right. So once again, a real data-rich application. So terrific. And Andreas?
Yeah, so where we're going is actually related to the name of our company, Arjuna.ai. Arjuna around the hitting the target from the legendary, if you're familiar with the eye of the bird, zoning out distractions and focusing on what's ahead of you. And the AI piece around the evolution of machine learning. So for us, all of us on the team have, in previous lives, we've built workforce analytics and workforce planning solutions that leverage some machine learning elements, but we didn't have access to the Eightfold data. And so we're thinking about the curated analytics piece that we're doing today, the integration work that we're working with Eightfold on, and some of these other elements as stepping stones to get into highly strategic workforce analytics and workforce planning solutions that leverage AI and that don't just look at skills in terms of the availability of skills, the demand and supply, and the elements that we've talked about the last few days, but also include things like financials and long-term cost, include things like gig workers and other elements to where we can very strategically help bring some of these elements to life and give exposure to managers that are in these roles, and really that drives the mission that we have as a firm around helping our customers use their existing technology to find the right people with the right skills at the right time.
Right.
So we're super excited about what's ahead for us and the partnership that we have with Eightfold.
Great, thank you. Yeah, that is exciting. And I also love your name. That was one of the first questions I asked when I said, oh, what does that mean? Really interesting, so thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
And David?
One of the things that Josh didn't talk about this morning during his presentation, but easily could have, was what MC, if you're familiar with MC Burning Glass, the data company out there, recently authored a report called the Demographic Drought, or the SANSdemic, as they call it. Basically, just a problem that's been 50 years in the making, decreasing number of working age people in our workforce. So part of, you did see the slide for those that saw Josh's presentation where we have 4 million, I think if I recall correctly, right, people retiring or resigning from the workforce. Given some of those people just aren't coming back. And so it's imperative that organizations retain the talent that they have and sensibly seek to upskill or reskill those individuals rather than, just because it's going to be more and more difficult, right, to find people in the open market. Obviously, Eightfold's technology goes a long way to remedying that problem. So for us, it's all about, doing what we can to help organizations transition to that, sort of 4.0 state that Josh talked about today, right, where skills are very, very centric to the way that we think and operate, kind of losing these proxy statements like university degrees and job descriptions and resumes. And in terms of our work with Eightfold, as I mentioned, the initial integration sees learning recommendations happening in Degreed. We do have some functionality on our side that will allow us to more effectively orient learners to career opportunities that exist for them on the Eightfold platform. So sort of more of a bi-directional flow of integration. But I think this is just the starting point for us, right? I'm thrilled that you have this application exchange because it's just going to greatly enable our growing number of mutual clients, right, to more easily realize the benefits of having both of our platforms installed.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think you hit upon some really key points. And, as I said, this is really just the beginning of the Eightfold App Marketplace. We have a lot to look forward to. Obviously, there's a lot of change in the market, and that's certainly the constant here, so very excited about that. So just want to, lastly, see if you can comment or just let people know, what is the best approach to contact you and how to work with you. Would love to hear more about that. I don't know, Andreas, if you'd like to kick that one off.
Yeah, so I'm going to be out at the Genius Bar later if anybody has any questions. Obviously, the way that we engage, and Kapil, you mentioned this, right, is we ideate with customers. We love to get ideas, so let's have a conversation. I don't know if our email addresses or contact info will be shared.
It will, yes, we can share that if
Perfect.
you want. That we want to be conscientious of privacy and security, but all of these folks would love to, have dialogues and conversations with you, so we will publish that.
Great.
The only thing I can add is just reach out to your Eightfold
Yeah.
sales managers and account managers. We are working hard to enable them so that they have all the information. I think that'll be the best starting point. Of course, we're all here to help, and you will have the email addresses.
Yeah, and I would just echo that. I'm here, but we have fantastic behind-the-scenes communication with our partners at Eightfold. So if you have a close relationship with your Eightfold representative, if you have a close relationship with a Degreed representative, it works both ways. So just contact the person who's closest to you.
Yes.
And we can go from there.
It's great. So certainly a two-way street, a multiple-way street, so that's terrific. Well, first, I wanted to thank you all. It's been a pleasure to host this session. As you can see, this is all critical work, and this is work that we all share to really change the game for a lot of people. It's really important. And certainly, this is why I came to Eightfold. Really important to embrace this mission that we're on. So I want to thank you very much. You are all game changers, so thank you. I want to thank David and Andreas and Kapil and all of you for the work you do.